and welcome to today's video. Thank you so much for joining me as we test some new product. So today I'm going to be testing the very brand new One Size BBB cream, which stands for Beauty Blur Balm. And we're gonna learn all about this today. We're gonna see how it applies, do a wear test, the whole shebang. So if you're interested, grab a coffee, grab a snack, and let's get into it. So as I said, this is a brand new launch, and from the sounds of it, it sounds like a very new, very, what's the word? One of a kind, like we've never really seen anything like this before. So it is well, there you go. There's the word, revolutionary. It is a revolutionary, one of a kind, blurring beauty balm. It improves the appearance of texture with all day hydration and comfortable all day wear. It is medium coverage with a natural finish. It has white rose stem cells that are derived from the Japanese white rose, known for its resiliency. They quickly improve the appearance of skin tone and absorb oil over time. It has skin-like treated pigments, which is a lightweight skin mimicking technology that instantly blurs and feels like your skin. And it has avocado and mango hydra blend, which boosts hydration to visibly smooth texture. It is vegan, cruelty free. So a triple threat against texture. This versatile 3-in-1 is powered by skincare to blur skin texture, absorb oil, and boost hydration, as we already read. It is buildable formula that maximizes the blur with breathable, undetectable second skin finish. So basically, pretty much the majority of One Size's skin and complexion products, they basically focus on blurring. If you've seen Patrick Starr, he's all about the blurred complexion, which I am obsessed with as well. I love a good blurred, filtered kind of effect. I honestly am a huge fan of One Size. I am obsessed with the powder foundation, the best powder foundation you could ever purchase. That is not sponsored, by the way. I have mentioned this product in multiple videos. I've raved about it, and it is not sponsored at all. And I really like the concealer. I like the powder. I like the setting spray. I like the liquid liner. There's so many products that I have fallen in love with, and let's hope we can add this one to the list. So this is the packaging. Actually, I really enjoy the way that this looks. It is a nice size. It's a squeezy tube. Okay, so it's a squeezy tube, but I actually looked at this before and I was very shocked by it. So at first I didn't notice that there's like that indent. So clearly when you look at that, you're gonna know that you're gonna press here and it's gonna come out this little spout here. So that is super cool. But at first I'm like, okay, it's, you just twist off the cap, right? It's a regular squeezy tube. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It comes out the side. Well, then I go to put it back on and I'm like, oh, look at that. So it is a, click, open and close kind of squeezy tube. So I thought that was very unique, very interesting. Not that that really matters. It's not that big of a deal, but I didn't notice it at first. I probably am the only one that's going to admit that, but in case you are like me, it comes out the side right here. I did get the shade Fair 1N, which is for very fair neutral undertones, and I'm glad I did because as you can see, it doesn't look super light. When it comes to very fair, I find that like it's a dangerous zone because sometimes very fair compared to fair is like white. So it's too light. But then sometimes very fair is still, perfect match for me, or even sometimes a little bit too dark. So it's honestly kind of trial and error with shade matching, I'm sure, for every skin tone. So I will say that it does look like for very fair, it's a little bit dark because I know I'm not the fairest it gets. I'm super fair, but I'm not the fairest it gets. And I think that that's one of the lightest shades you can get. So it would have been maybe nice to see some lighter shades, but hopefully this one will still match me. But that's the formula. It actually looks quite thick, almost not moussey at all, but like it has like an interesting texture to it when you actually feel it. Let's just go ahead and apply. I'm gonna see, because it's like a BBB cream, you know, like I don't know how we're supposed to apply this. So the unique formula is entirely versatile for any wear preference, helping you elevate and reimagine your typical base routine. So if you want light to medium coverage, use your fingers in a small amount. If you want medium coverage, use a brush. Squeeze a dime size amount onto your brush and apply over the entire face. And medium to full coverage, it says use a beauty sponge. Apply a dime sized amount on the back of your hand, stamp with dampened beauty dampened beauty sponge, and apply to the skin, let set, and apply another layer. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the primer from One Size. I thought we'd go with a little bit of like a One Size face today, kind of see how these products work together. So I'm gonna go in with the One Size Secure the Blur Primer, which is one of my favorites. Okay, so we're primed and we are ready to roll. One thing I will say about the thing, like the dispenser, is it does already look like it's getting messy, so you may want to kind of clean it up. That's the one downside that I'm noticing so far. Let's go ahead with a brush first. Let's do brush on this side. I saw somebody review this on TikTok and they just went straight in with a bunch all over their face with their fingers. I like cannot get into that trend. Like I don't like using my fingers at all for my face aside from primer, and even then sometimes I use a brush or whatever because I have acne prone skin, so unless my hands are like really guaranteed to be clean, I try to avoid touching my face. Keyword try. I do actually. I am one of those people that touches their face all the time and like I bite my nails, so I like, even with my fake nails, I have my fingers in my mouth, so it's a bad habit. The shade is actually matching my face really well. I'm just gonna go over with my beauty blender to make sure everything is blended in. This is what I do with all of my products, so it's not just this one. Okay, so I don't love the way it's looking being applied with the brush. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like with the sponge and we'll compare them. It does so far look like it is a very versatile formula in terms of coverage. Like I just put a little bit on and it just kind of blurred my overall complexion. So I like that, but let's go ahead and see if we can get it up to a more medium to full coverage. I feel like I got maybe a little bit more coverage with the brush. So for first layer, definitely the brush gives more coverage, but I like the way it's looking on the skin 10 times more with the sponge. It looks much more smooth. I'm just gonna try to smooth this side out. There we go, that's better. Let's go ahead with a second layer. I'm gonna just use the sponge because I like the way it looks better. It does feel a little bit thick on the skin when you're applying it, but once it sets down, it feels nice and lightweight. I'm not really loving the way it's sitting on the skin, to be honest with you. It kind of is not looking smooth. See, when I come up close, it's almost like not sitting smooth on the skin. You would think like it would go with the primer. Never had an issue with that primer before. From far away, it looks really nice. It's super blurred my skin. I have put 2 layers on and it's not really covering up those blemishes, so I would say it's only a medium coverage. When I look up close though, it's not sitting over top of my pores, almost like sinking into my pores. And it almost looks maybe a little bit dry. You'll see it's not sitting smooth on my skin. I'm not super loving this, but maybe once I put on concealer, I'm gonna go in with the One Size, and I'm gonna go ahead with the One Size powder as well. Maybe we'll be able to get a better look to it. Okay guys, so it's looking maybe a little bit better. I feel like the concealer, no, it's really not. I really wanted to like this, guys. I honestly thought this was gonna be the best thing ever. It's gonna blur my skin. It's gonna be the most blurring, smoothing foundation ever, and it's honestly not at all. I feel like my pores are accentuated. I feel like my texture, like it just looks textured and dry. So I'm really not impressed so far. What I think I'm gonna do is do a day 2. I was honestly only planning on doing 1 day of testing for this one. We're doing a good old day 2, and I'm gonna use different products, just kind of mix it up and see if I can get it to work. And then I'll be able to give you my final review, but I will still do some check-ins and let you guys know how this is holding up at least. First, what I thought I would do, this is mattifying though. Yeah, this is mattifying. I was gonna use this setting spray if I needed it, but it's mattifying, and I don't think adding any more matte to my face is going to help the situation. Let me run up and grab some setting spray. Hopefully maybe some setting spray will help. So I went up and grabbed my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless setting spray. I find it's good for really kind of melting the makeup together, adding a little bit of hydration. So what I want to say is I went upstairs and looked in natural lighting. It looks worse in this lighting, which can be very common. It's not necessarily sinking into my pores, which I'm hoping when I get up close, you'll be able to see this. It's not sinking in my pores. I think it just looks dry. So it just isn't sitting nicely smooth on the skin because it just is dry. So ultimately, I don't think this is going to be my favorite, but as I said, we're going to see how today goes, see how tomorrow goes, and then I'll have a final review. Now let's set. It's actually looking maybe a smidgen, just a smidgen better, but not that much better that I'm like, oh, this might be great. But again, as I said, we're gonna have to see. So I'm gonna go ahead and just finish my makeup off camera because that's not important for today's video. But I will come back and check in. It is 10 o'clock right now. So yeah, I will see you guys in a bit. Hey guys, so I'm just finishing up my makeup and I thought I would pop in quickly and show you, like, I don't know what's going on because like when I left recording, I was not super impressed with how it was looking. But now that I have like bronzer and blush, all of that, my brow is done, it's actually looking really nice and smooth. So I'm really confused. I think the setting spray helped. If you look on my forehead though, you do still see a little bit of like, it's not super perfectly smooth. There's a little bit of that like dryness and texture. So I still stand by the things I said, but I think it looks so much better now, and I thought I would show you. Like, I'm actually really happy with my makeup right now. So yeah, ultimately I'm confused is basically what I'm saying, and we need to definitely do a day 2 to see final opinion. Hey guys, so it is the end of the day. It's almost 8:30, so it's been over 10 hours of day 1. And I am honestly confused about this. I definitely need to do a day 2 to get a solid idea, as I've said. I feel like it's really like held up to my shine. Like there's no shine basically, like none pretty much. So in terms of wearing, it actually wore pretty good. There's a little bit of separation and creasing along the nose a little bit, but it's not too bad. There is some separation and loss of coverage on my chin, but to be fair, I did have a pasta for dinner, and you know how like you get it on your chin and you have to like try to dab it off. It was like a little bit oily, so I think that's more that than the foundation, especially considering the rest of the face barely even has a shine. In terms of how it's worn, it's actually quite impressive, but I didn't love how it applied. And it was really weird. Like I didn't love it at all. And then I put the rest of my makeup on and I was like, I actually kind of really like this. So definitely gonna mix up the product, see if I can get it to apply a little bit more smooth and a little bit less dry. If not, then I'm pretty iffy on it. So yeah, I'll definitely do a day 2 and check in with you guys to show you what it's looking like and give you a good final opinion. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Hey guys, so it is almost 7:30. It has been at least 10 hours since I finished my makeup. So the foundation's been on for probably like 11 hours. I developed more of a shine today because I used the Tatcha primer, which is more hydrating for my skin. Ultimately, I'm honestly just not impressed with this foundation. I think it looks, as you can see, more makeup-y on the skin. Like you can just see it's like not looking nice and smooth and lightweight. It's almost looking cakey. And on my chin where I had my mask, it completely rubbed off like very easily. Unfortunately, I don't think it's transfer proof. I think that it looks kind of dry and makeup-y on the skin. It doesn't have that nice natural second skin-like finish that you would want and that it claims to have, and it also doesn't really blur the skin in my opinion. I think it just looks dry and makeup-y and cakey. So I personally think that it's a pass. I definitely would recommend other foundations over this. It is very disappointing, but I do still recommend checking out the brand because there are so many products I do love, but unfortunately this one just is not that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful and that you guys enjoyed. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.